build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance. Hello everybody, welcome to Longbangers. I'm Matty.
Hello, morning, I'm Colin, or afternoon, or evening, whenever you listen to this.
Whenever you listen. It's morning for us, Colin, 10:10 on a Sunday morning. It's
Yeah.
we were
Change
just
days.
talking before we started. It changed days. We had a off-camera chat about tea and coffee, as opposed to the hijinks of the night before that we would have talked about.
Correct.
20
And
years
times we've
ago.
been kicked out. Times we've
Aye.
been kicked out by our parents and stuff for various hijinks.
Aye, for being daftly laddies. Aye, how are you doing today?
I'm all right. I'm not bad. I'm no long home for the match yesterday. After that fucking traffic, fuck me. I was thinking the rugby kicks off at 8. Am I going to make it? 10:07. I got him.
That's mental. And what was this? You park at Meadowbank, don't you?
I did, and I was in the East Stand yesterday. Thanks to Ryan for down the slope for the UC's tickets. But so back row of the East, very back row, right, way up the sky. And if you don't leave before 90 minutes, you're not getting down the stairs till the last man's at the stadium. So that was that. That was fine. I walked down to Meadowbank. Meadowbank was already busy. I thought, right, fuck it, I'll go into the shops and I'll get a couple of things that I needed. So in 10 minutes, I thought, by that, the traffic will have died. Nah, the car park was literally a car park on the fucking road, though. Eventually got out of there. They were starting road rage, even though it was Hibs fans in the car park. They were starting to niggle each other because folk wouldn't let folk out of parking spaces and stuff. It was like, fucking hell, man. Then you get out and then you go park shut for whatever reason. Like, I know it's always shut on a Saturday or they've extended the hours, but fucking hell, that fucks things up. Royal Mile was rammed. Didn't go up there. I thought I'd go up Regent Terrace, which was moving, wasn't bad. Stopped dead at kind of the wee mini roundabout where the Independence box used to be. Back round, I thought I'll just, because I was picking, so the urgency wasn't just to get him for the rugby. I'd said to my daughter who started her first job yesterday, I'll pick you up, because they gave her a big baggie. She works in IKEA. Gave her a big baggie shite, right? And I thought, save getting the bus in the pissing rain, I'll get you. And so I went back on myself. And then, of course, that road shut down that, that funny crossroads at the top of Abbey Mount.
Aye.
That road shuts, so you've got to go down Easter Road. You go down Easter Road, temporary lights at the top of Easter Road to turn right. You get right, you go along there. You go down past the Jocks Lodge. It wasn't too bad. Turned right, and I thought, you know what, I'll go up past Holyrood School. Went up past Holyrood School. Traffic stopped at the fucking bend at Holyrood School. And I thought, that's cute, all the way up to Creedmiller Crossroads. Mm-hmm. Back round, back along towards the Duel. And then, this is a long story to tell you. They get to our mate Colin's old house, Mountcastle.
Yep.
And the queue there to turn right to get up to the Duel was back to the church at St Mary. Was it Magdalene Church or what it was called? I was like, fucking hell, you just can't avoid this. Can't avoid it. They've just fucked it. They've done it brilliant. They want you to walk it or get the bus. They didn't want you to drive. And they're almost succeeding in making me, because I could have walked from Meadowbank, and because I ran from my mum's to Meadowbank last week for a 5k, and it was less than half an hour. Took me an hour to get from Meadowbank to over an hour to get from Meadowbank to my man's last night at the Duel.
You could have run it quicker.
I could have walked it. I could have walked it quicker. It's a fucking joke, an absolute disgrace. I've seen other folk on Twitter and that moaning about it as well. And you mentioned earlier that you were stuck on the Royal Mile too. It's just a fucking absolute shambles, this city, to try and move around. Terrible.
Agreed.
Anyway, so I'm just him. I'm not. I made it. I got in and stayed for rugby.
Aye.
Have the fans back. Mind that for them.
I'll not comment until the fans are back. The mad thing about all that, right, is Rangers were still playing by the time I reached the bottom of the Royal Mile. Okay, that's how much injury time they got. They're fucking mental. So good game had finished. Got to the car and driven up Easter Road. And I was like, fucking, how are they still playing? Mental. We got 3 minutes. We'll maybe talk about that. That was like one of the things that folk were talking about on Hibs.net. Just like the pick 3 minutes injury time. Like, it could only been fucking 3 minutes. What the time wasting that was going on.
I never even thought about that. Yeah.
Anyway, right, before we go to Dundee yesterday, the 0-0 draw, we'll have a quick chat about St Mirren in the cup draw on Wednesday night. So what did you think of the game on Wednesday night?
It was good. I liked it. Enjoyed it. Plenty of goals. St Mirren's not a bad team, so it wasn't even like they're second in the league, you know. So I enjoyed it.
But it was a really good performance, like you say, St Mirren or no mugs. I didn't agree with listening to Stevie Robinson after it. He thought they dominated the first half.
I never agree with Stevie Robinson.
Okay,
I've never heard him. It's never the same game as me. Every time I hear him after, I actually now, even last season, the season before, I'd go, or whenever, when he was at Motherwell, you'd go, oh, here's this fucking clown. Because he always is going to say something that you disagree with. It's like, he doesn't, he's so, like, I wouldn't have thought as a manager, you're going to be biased and you've got to support your players. But you would think he would try and go, I need to see the whole picture here, though, to make me understand why we lost the game. He doesn't. Or he certainly doesn't say it publicly.
No, in public at least, aye.
Maybe that's to protect himself, though, for the fans. Like, maybe that's maybe if you're honest, then folk would go, aye, fucking even he said that he should have marked Barton Boyle. You know what I mean? Rather than going, we dominated them and they just got 4 breakaway goals. Like, and one of them they didn't even deserve, sort of thing. That's what it's like every week. He never loses because he could have done better.
Nah, it's funny. I listened to him. I was like, he's watched a different game. I thought like the first half was pretty even, but I thought we had the better of the play. They had 2 really good chances. One they scored with. It was a good goal. Yeah. Good question of defending it, but I actually think St Mirren worked the goal really well, and it was very deliberate. What they did is they pulled everybody in, and we're bad. Like I think for ball watching at times when we're defending, everybody had followed like the play into the box, and so the boy just knocked it down with a header. And I can't remember, is it Tanzer? Is that the boy that scored it?
Yeah.
Cracking finish. Marshall's no chance, but aye.
Nah, but it was 2 goals, 2 strikes, 2 goals. I mean, if you want to play the Stevie Robinson game, you go, well, they had 2 shots, they scored 2 goals, and other than that, we never looked in any trouble. But dismiss the stuff that did go against you and just talk about the good stuff. It was like 2 strikes, 2 goals. That was it. I think the goalie could have saved either. There was folk around me moaning at Marshall for the second one.
Aye, no chance.
I didn't think so. I've not seen it back though. I've not seen the highlights yet. Sometimes you see it on the telly and you go, all right, because I've just watched Sports Scene before we've done this for last night to see I've seen the game. Obviously, I was there. Just in case anybody's wondering if we were there, I was there.
Did the register.
But sometimes you want to see it on the telly because you get a different perspective, don't you?
Aye.
Because some folk will say it's better if you're sitting up high behind the goals to see a game. Others will say, I was way up high in the east and you do get a good view. But sometimes I think you are that high up that it's hard to, like sometimes you think the ball's going for a corner and it goes out for a throw-in, for example, when you're that high up.
Yeah.
So I thought if you want to see a shot, was it a brilliant save or was it just a good save or was it just a save? I think you need to see it on the telly again.
We had a cracking view of St Mirren's second goal. I would absolve Marshall any play. The boys hit it right in the corner. The defence could have done better with it. Again, clever play for St Mirren. Their runners off the ball created the space because they pulled their, I think it was a beater, pulled him out wide. Somebody else took care of the centre half. So it all just opened up and the boys got like a strike. But we came back brilliantly. They had like a rocky 10 minutes where St Mirren could potentially have won the game, but they didn't. And then
what was good about it was when they got back to 2-2, you could almost sense people going, oh, fuck's sake, because the fans were expecting knee fighting to chuck it.
Yeah.
Whereas the players didn't. So it was a nice value change.
And I think that's a result of what we watched under Johnson. I didn't think we would have come back and won that 4-2 under Johnson.
It's not just though. It's like years and years and years yet. It's been various managers that you've went, oh, fucking hell, they'll score a late one now.
But I thought 4-2 was a fair reflection of the game. I didn't think it flattered. I think we could have scored more. Boyles had a great chance where he's through in the keeper and he's actually a good save. It's funny that the second one where he's through and he does score, he's done the same thing, just put like a wee bit of lift in it. That was like the only difference between the 2 chances.
Because he should have scored the first one, really. I think it was almost like too much time to think about it.
Aye. Aye. And the keepers are one of those where they've just left the leg to go, right? To be able to save it. Good save. Get a keeper credit for it. But I thought the overall performance for the team was terrific. Like, I came away for that game really enthused about how we're set up, particularly in attack. Like, I just thought the attacking play, second half especially, was brilliant. Like, we were just fucking so good to watch. Like, Yuan on one side, Boyle on another. They would switch over. They would come inside. There's players popping up all over the place. The fullbacks supporting. It was just really good to watch. I really liked it, and I liked the attitude for the team as well. That kind of, they just never stopped, kept fighting, and were well worth the win in the end. So it was a bit of a surprise to get a 0-0 yesterday. But if we start with yesterday, the team lineup, so we had Stevenson, Hanlon, and Lafondre come back into the side for Abita, Rocky, and Deutsch. Off the top of my head, well remember Matty. You happy with the starting lineup?
I think so. I quite like Abita. But and I suppose the reason I wasn't massively surprised or disappointed was I'd read the article in the Hibs Observer that I think Patrick McPartland wrote, the opinion piece in the morning. I'd read that fucking fans view. If you read that fans view that's in that paper,
shambles,
absolute
shambles.
It doesn't even go to the games. Anyway, right, him. So I read Patrick's article, and he was talking about how he's using. It looks like, I guess he's been tipped off or asked off the record or whatever, 15, 16, 17 players, and he'll be using them and just dropping them in and out. So I wasn't massively surprised that he was. Because it was just the faces though that had been coming off the bench, or so he's kind of rotating around various positions to keep it fresh, but keep a consistency as well, which I quite like. We've moaned about it over the year. We've certainly moaned about it with the last manager, like Tombola and selection Tombola and all that. Players are playing in the position, they're just not playing 90 minutes every week, and they're just not starting every week. Some of them are, you know what I mean? Like it's, but he's rotating around it, and I quite. So I quite like it. It gives you could almost name 7 or 8 of who's going to be playing starting most weeks now.
And when the change is made, it is almost a like for like. And I know, like, Albita's not exactly the same as Stevenson, Hanlon's not exactly the same as Rocky, but you're taking a left back for a left back, or a centre half for a centre half, or a forward for a forward. So they all fit in the system. And I think Montgomery said that himself. Like, he doesn't really see like he's got his first 11, but he looks at it as a squad. So it doesn't matter whether it's Lafondre or Deutsch that's supporting Vent. He kind of thinks they're much of a muchness. So I thought the starting 11 was fine. Probably a bit surprised to see Abita hit the bench. I thought he played well against St Mirren, but 3 games in a week, it was just a case of managing the minutes.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
On that point, right, Newell and Jago played every minute. I think every game this week. Dylan Levitt sat on the bench. Do you think there was a opportunity to have put Levitt on and give him some game time?
Aye.
Good.
I do. Aye. I mean, that's the thing. It does kind of contradict that point, doesn't it? Because when I was saying it, I read it and it made sense to me, and then I seen it happen in action. But I was saying it out loud just a minute ago there and thinking, but Jago and Newell never, they're constants, they're the two that, and that's in probably the position in the pitch that I would imagine on their wee vests, the
sports brass,
what they're called, I know they've got an actual name. They things, the
GPS.
It's got a name.
What's the
name? It doesn't matter.
Tell me what it is. Tell me what it is.
But they're it's annoying me now. But they're probably the position that runs the biggest distances. So you would think they're the tiredest or in most need of a rest. So it is a bit surprising, but maybe he doesn't. And the thing is, Levitt's not playing. Like, he's injured. He's not playing reserve team football because I don't have it. But they play a reserve cup game every now and again. I don't think he qualifies for the development team, or if they have any games, because it's under 18s that are playing now. So, like, I'm still fucking confused on like what reserve team, development team is. Like, the under 18s seem to play on a Friday afternoon. Nobody else seems to play. So if you're not in the first team and you're on the bench, you're not playing. So you're not fit. Match
but
fit.
I think Montgomery said he was going to feature in a bounce game through the week to get some minutes in him. But I thought it was a surprise that like he came back for injury. It was a Kilmarnock game, I think, when he was on the bench, and you thought maybe we'll see him come off the bench and then sit down. And I thought yesterday would have been a good opportunity to get him in because he was like a big signing for us, and I was sort of thinking about where does he fit in with this team because Newell and Jago I think work well, and I can
They were
understand
good
why.
again yesterday. Like so it's not to say, and they're not. I'm not wanting one of them out because they're good, and I was going to say they're complimenting each other, but I was waiting on you saying I like your hair and I like your boots and all that again. But they do seem to compliment each other quite well, and they don't. And Newell's been excellent. Like Newell, I think he got man of the match at the ground yesterday. From memory, pretty sure that's who they read out. And Jacob was good again. So, they're not. They have probably been the best. Have they been the best? They've been a big part of the change in fortune, that partnership.
Aye, I think there's like a solidity and a consistency with the two of them. You know what you're getting. They've not let us down in those games anyway. Do you know, like as they've been playing together, and it seems to work. They let the forward players do the forward play, as well. That sounds like a basic thing to say as well, right? But you know what I mean? Like they get in the field and switch about, safe in the knowledge that there's a core two there. But it'll be interesting to see when Levitt comes back in and how he fits into the system is the other thing because I don't think he's a natural replacement for either of the two of them.
I was wondering, like, I don't know what his background is in sort of attacking midfield sort of positions, but I know when you look at the two strikers, you've got the two wide men right up, and then you've got the two strikers, but one sort of a lot of times seems to play deeper than the other. So at times early on yesterday, Benty was almost in a 10 role, if you want to call it that, because it was like a wee diamond to get tactical at the front. If you watch the four of them, because it was so high up, I could see all this shit. But the front four were in like a diamond shape, and you can wonder if that's an attacking midfielder's role. And you've got one striker with one attacking midfielder with two up high wingers. I don't know if that's if he's ever done that though, or if he's been more a six, or what the fuck it was we said
quarterback.
It
wouldn't
have been a number that Johnson said. It would have been some fancy fucking thing.
Aye. So right. So 0-0, it was frustrating, right? And I think the temptation is to go and offload it and say it was like a bad performance in that, right? And when I was sitting down to record this, I was like, right, if I was being objective, we could easily have won that. I think there was 23 shots on goal, 10 on target, I think, off the top of my head.
That's what Monty said.
Aye, that's what I'm taking it for. Right, so I'm assuming he's right. I've not fact checked him though.
I thought it was 9. I thought it was 9 shots on target, I think. But 9 or 10. Go with 9 or 10 and we'll be right.
We could easily have won. Like, the game could have been 3-2, for example. Right? So if you say, like, we could have scored a couple, Dundee could have scored a couple, it'd be all right. If that game had gone 1-0 and we'd finished at 1-0, we would be talking about a good performance. Probably should have scored more. Good win. Team have played well. We just didn't get the goal. But were you left frustrated or disappointed with the performance, or did you think we played well? What was your assessment of it?
No, I wasn't frustrated with I was frustrated with the result, not the performance. And I've just watched Sports Team, like I said, and they were talking about how, like they said, Rory Loy was doing the commentary on the radio, and he says how it's a great game or a good game. Don't know how there's not been a goal. They were saying like it's the goalkeepers or the goalkeepers union will be, and because it was a good game and there were saves. You know, it wasn't like, look, we've been at these games before and over the last couple of seasons, and you're going, fucking hell, that was frustrating. 9 shots on target, 1 shot on target. Well, 9 or 10 yesterday, 23 shots. We were trying, we were close. The goalie made something. We should have had better finishes, maybe in some of the occasions. Other ones, the goalie's done well. That's what we want, isn't it? We want to be creating chances and we want to be scoring them as well. But like some days, it's just not going to happen. That's the fucking aim of the game for the opposition, isn't it? Don't let the other team score. So it's going the right way, isn't it? It's just disappointing, and it's because it's Dundee and they're just promoted as well. Like if folk are expecting to fucking beat them, but it's a wee bit dismissive, eh?
Aye, the expectation things for I was sort of talking to Josh about it as we're coming to the stadium. And it's like Hibs fans, I think Hibs fans are unique. Right? It's probably the same with all fans. Should make that clear. Now I include
Well,
myself
I'll
in
just
this. Right?
say, I heard an Aberdeen fan on the radio last night, and they're talking about one for second place now.
Fucking brilliant.
And only 2 weeks ago, when I was coming here for Kilmarnock, they were talking about getting relegated.
Aye.
So we are, certainly Aberdeen, Hibs and Hearts fans are probably quite similar in that thought process.
Aye. And it is easy to get carried away, but it's like you've got, like if you were to draw a graph, you'd have the line going up, like, so number of wins in a row, like good performances goes like this, and it's maybe like a sort of a 45-degree angle going up. And then the expectation of what we should be doing by the fans goes up at like fucking 90 degrees, almost like, and they're not reflecting each other. And like, I know going to the game like yesterday, I expected us to win. We would win comfortably. Like I was saying, Josh, could get 3 or 4, get an early goal, could be any number, is what I said to me.
Did you?
Aye. It was like, well, okay, it was like sort of half joking with a wee bit, but and I think actually we would have. I think if one of those early chances had gone in, I think we would have went on to win by like 3 or 4. I think that would have been beyond us. But the longer it went without a goal, they made it look like we weren't going to score.
Aye. They had the earlier chances though. To be fair to them,
they did. Yeah. They did. So we started slow. Like we started, I thought, a bit slow against St Mirren. And who did we play the week before? That's terrible. It was only last week. Who did we beat?
That was a game I wasn't at.
Shocking.
Was that again? Sure, isn't it?
1 week.
That's terrible. This is the old age thing. This is coming back to
that. And we talked about St Johnstone.
Oh, I see. Forget them easy though. They're like one of the teams that are.
It's like
we'll need to worry about them next season.
But it was a routine win, and I expected yesterday to be a routine win like that. Like the St Mirren weren't going to come in, St Johnstone weren't going to come and offer much, Dundee weren't going to come and offer much. But in both cases, St Johnstone started quite well and frustrated us, and Dundee started, I thought, very well. They were much better than I was expecting them to be. The fullback was good. Their number 3 left back, like look, I think he's on loan for Liverpool.
Oh, is that him? Right.
He was a good signing.
See one that Boyle got booked for bringing Boyle down.
Pass.
No, don't know. There was one Boyle went past, and the boy just whacked him away. There was the other one outside the box as well that they did get booked for. I was talking to Liam when we were at the game, and I was like, later on, I was like, that boy not get booked for that foul on Boyle in the first half. Came when he ran away from him, and he just sort of grabbed his arm and done one of the ones when they just spin you away.
I think he did get booked for that.
Wasn't on the screen, saying that's what made me kind of normally put up on the screen. Anyway,
I actually thought the referee got most of the big decisions right. Can we talk about when booking players at the right time? And I think the only thing he didn't really clamp down on was the fanning about, like the time wasting, and as mentioned, like he didn't add that on at the.
I didn't even really notice loads of it though. Wasn't it that obvious this time? But I get the 3 minutes thing because there was plenty of subs as well. So even the subs alone, you would think would be more than 3.
Well, we had Newell doing with a head knock. They had their boy go doing with cramp twice. Again,
but they played drink that, didn't they?
No, I think they stopped the play and they kind of were like, came one of these ones where they just tell the physio to wait the now. He'll get up himself, like he did that twice, and then he got subbed off. I just thought, well, should have been in 3 minutes. I think that was probably my only major gripe.
Yeah. And what about the penalty on Yuan?
It's I don't know. I watched it on Sports Scene. Like I watched it to try and get at the time. I thought it was a definite penalty, right? But can me corner shout fucking penalty?
Aye, I was doing your end though.
Aye, if it's like a free kick on the halfway line, I'm like fucking penalty.
That was a penalty 2 years ago when against when we played in the cup against Arbroath.
I've stored it in my list of injustices. After the boys slid in, the boys going to ground. I thought he's clipped to Yuan. It just made no sense for Yuan to go down. It was even like he's maybe in his like peripheral vision. He'll have clocked that the boys slid in and thought, I might fucking throw myself down here. But I thought at the time, I thought it was a penalty. I expected VAR to pick it up. When I watched it on Sports, I couldn't really tell. I was like, I didn't care if it's hit him or no.
So at the game, I didn't think it was a penalty, but I was doing the other end on the other side, and it looked like Yuan was looking for it. Seen it on the telly, and I thought, well, the guy's went to ground, and Yuan's either kicked his leg or the boy's knees caught Yuan's foot, whatever way around it is. What I think is, if the referee gave that as a penalty, VAR wouldn't have turned it over, but because he didn't give it, they've just went, that's not clear and obvious.
Yeah.
It's whatever the referee decides. I think it's one of them that next week Beaton might give one of them exact, probably against us, and we'll go, we never gave it last week, but it's one of the 50-50 ones that you sometimes get and you sometimes don't, and VR just don't get involved in it because they go, what was, mate, this week it is, next week it's no.
Aye. I didn't have a massive complaint about it. That's like I saw it, because I always think, if I can't tell when I'm watching it on the telly, how's the referee meant to fucking spot it real time?
On VAR, what about the Liverpool? You seen that?
Fuck it.
See, so they've just fucked it. They've went, hear what they're saying, apparently that the VAR went, no, it's clearly offside. So they thought the on-field decision was offside.
Aye.
Right, so they've went, check complete, didn't bother putting the lines on it because they've went, it's definitely offside, mate, with my fucking eye, I can see that. And then they've took the offside free kick, and they've went, fuck, are you dead? Sorry, clearly onside, sorry, rather than offside. Wait, then the free kick, and then you can't turn it back then. So that's basically
what happened. Kicked off, aye.
Imagine if that was up here. Imagine if that was here, we'd be giving it to the only in Scotland, chat.
Aye, because I mean, it was a shambles, really.
Only in England.
And you had the boy Jota got his first yellow as well for fuck all too. Like that was.
The boy just he didn't even mean it. It was just two guys running together, and once he did the guy wasn't even looking for a foul, was he?
Nah, just one of these.
Maybe it's just the referees. Maybe they've transferred the refs in for the Celtic refs for last season. Angie's got them.
But the Liverpool Spurs game is a good example of why the right amount of injury time is important, right? And we didn't look like scoring yesterday, right? So we had loads of chances.
Yeah.
Game gets called after 3 minutes. The Spurs Liverpool game went on for fucking ages, and Spurs scored right at the fucking death. Now,
and it was one of them that wasn't even. It was just a bang into the box, wasn't it? I've only seen the highlights because obviously I missed it because I was in the fucking car. But it was just they just knocked in the box and it hit off a boy. So it's not even like you're knocking at the door. You've just fucking lumped a ball into the box and it's bounced off a defender.
Well, that's it. And if you were a Spurs fan, if that game had ended after, say, 5 minutes injury time, and you were a Spurs fan, you'd come away from that game going, fucking hell, we could have played all night and no scored a winner.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what they would have, that's the chat, right? Because that's what we would have come away yesterday, we could have played all night and no scored. But they got the right amount of injury time and they got to go. Like that break. So it's frustrating that we only got to 3 minutes. It's not to say that we would have scored the winner, but we could have.
Exactly. Could have lost one, I suppose, as well on the flip side. But yeah, you're right.
And talking about could have conceded goals. David Marshall yesterday, 2 big saves. What did you think of his performance?
It was two good saves. First one, well, it was a good save. It was a proper Marciano TV save. It was a good save, and we needed it. Second one I thought was better, although it was straight at him. The reaction was brilliant, but it was straight at him. And the Dundee manager said that either side of him. But I don't know, either side he might have stuck an arm out because it was good reactions. But there were 2 good saves, 2 big saves when we needed them.
I thought they were both certain goals.
Early and late. Early and late as well. In the game, it's like early you go, fuck's sake, the whole stadium would have went negative. Late, you've lost the game. So crucial times in the match and all.
Yeah, and they were important, like you say, crucial times, important saves. Definitely meant we kept the clean sheet, which was good, and then we took something like it. Always think it's important if you can't score in a game that you didn't lose it. So there's a positive there. Substitutions was the other thing I wanted to bring up. There's a bit of chat around us. So I actually look at both games, St Mirren and Dundee games. So St Mirren, the Montgomery takes off. Right, try to remember the 3 players that went off. Venti came off.
Right, he comes off every week.
Venti came off. Yuan came off, and there was a defender came off as well.
It would be Rocky.
Oh, what was it? Rocky for Hanlon, yeah. And Whitaker, Campbell, and Hanlon, they came on. So that was the subs. At the time, right, I was like, fucking, this isn't a game for Whitaker. Right, I thought, because we were 2-1 up. against St Mirren, very much in the ascendancy. We were well in control of the game. They score almost immediately. Whittaker gives the ball away. There's 2 passes. They get level, and then we looked like we were struggling. And actually, I couldn't see where we were going to score. I was like, we've taken off our 2 biggest threats, Yuan and Venti. And then obviously the ball pops up. And in the end, you'd have to say the substitutions were right because we won the game, right? Very hard to criticise a manager for his substitutions when it's worked it, right? So we'll go credit, and I actually want to give credit to Whittaker as well because it would have been easy for him to hide after that. But he was instrumental in us going ahead again when he picked up the ball and just sort of drove forward to feed Campbell, which was excellent from him. Yesterday, again, Venti went off, Lafondra went off. We bring on Deutsch, Tavares.
Obita
came
on for Stevenson.
What do you think of the subs? Is it a case of... Well, actually, I'll just leave that as an open question rather than try to plant an answer in your head. What do you make of them?
Right, so the Stevenson for Obita one, I think it's quite an attacking move because Stevenson's not as attacking as Obita is. He just isn't. The Venti one, I'm not sure. Like he obviously can't do 90 minutes, and I know he doesn't. He's saying, like you said last week, oh, we've got 5 subs. You didn't need to do 90 minutes. Go and burst yourself on 60 or 70. But it's Venti every week. Like it's subbed, and I was speaking to. That's a point actually. Bumped into a few folk yesterday. 3 different types of handshake for 3 different folk.
Nice.
How amazing is that?
Good.
So I seen Neil Renton outside doing the community foundation stuff, so it was good, soups and rolls and all that. Neil, he's aware of the chat. I haven't been a listener on that, so I watched the hand and I didn't have the proper handshake.
Traditional.
Got up, sat beside Liam for down the slope in the stadium. He went for the fist bump, which is like very COVID. Aye. And then after the game, bumped into Kenny Miller, also a listener. He went for the football player one.
Like the high five almost, yeah.
Yeah, the high five sort of slappy thing.
Yeah.
So very very interesting the different combos of the handshakes for 3 different people. Name duplicate. There was only 3 people I shook hands with yesterday, and that was the 3. And none initiated by me. I just take the lead because I never know what to do. But, as discussed on probably short bangers. That isn't the question though. Substitutes. Kenny was saying like he dread about Venti no being able. He never had a good pre-season before again. Liam might have said it as well. Not had a good pre-season, or never had any pre-season. He's came over and he's not that fit.
Right.
But I remember Lee Johnson saying that he was ready to go. He had a pre-season, but I could just be making that up like that because I didn't read. I don't know if you look at articles. I started reading more of this newspaper, but so I don't know. I don't know if he's not fit enough to do it because I just think why would you take your guy off that as much he doesn't touch the ball a lot. And I was going to challenge you there when you said your biggest threat against St Mirren because it depends on your definition of threat. A threat to me is like Boyle or Johan running at folk and taking them on and driving, whereas Venti just pops up in the right place at the right time. And that I know that's like one of the old silly arguments. Chris Boyd, man, he only scores. All he does is fucking score goals, and that's what Venti appears to do. Just turn up and score. And yesterday he got his chance and he didn't score it. The goalie saved it, but he's just had 1 chance, 1 goal in most games he's played. So I suppose he's a threat for that point of view, but actually you could forget about him on the pitch because he doesn't. It's not like he's. I said that he actually had that back heel yesterday as well, didn't he?
Aye, did he flick up?
But I don't know if he's not fit enough, and that's why he's coming off rather than any other reason. The Tavares one kind of. I'm not sure. Like I'm not sure how he's went for not even getting a game in the reserves to not being back in the first like 14, 15 squad of 15 players that are getting games. I'm not sure what's happened. I didn't think he was that bad. Like I know he only got about 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And he had a no bad touch up when he first came on, and then he went down the side and got a free kick out of nothing actually as well. But it didn't feel like. What am I trying to say? It didn't feel like we were going to. Oh, this has got to turn the game by bringing Tavares on, and we're or Tavares? Who'd you say? Or Jair?
Jair, go with Jair.
Fuck, there's so many combinations of that name. It's incredible. And I'm just looking at the BBC here. He's actually called De Vega Vieira Tavares. It's like, fuck, where did Jair come from? Or Jair. But Obita's the only attacking move there, and it's a left back because it's Deutsch for Venti. So it's like for like, really. It's not really. But, and Lafondre, who was good yesterday, I thought decent touches and that for Tavares, and you go, that means you're then putting Boyle through the middle. I suppose that was the attacking move to get Boyle through the middle, but then I don't know, mate. I don't know. I'm just rambling.
A bit of a tactical switch. It's funny so there's a lot of what ifs, right? And I kind of you didn't really want to go like if you're anti had Boz types arguments or discussions. The one on Wednesday night, if we'd lost that game, everybody would have been gone. It would have been the substitution that folk pointed to and say that was the moment that we lost the game. But we didn't, right? And then I thought we looked weaker after the substitutes on Saturday there. I don't know, maybe it's just like that's a reflection on the squad. Maybe there's more we could be doing there. In January to sort of bolster the numbers. Like you say, there's a wee bit of sort of how have we got players that have gone for nowhere, and you'd include Whittaker in that. Whittaker was a ball boy against Luzerne. If we gone there to playing 2 games in a week, and then being on the bench for the third one, and that's no slight on the boy at all. Like I'm delighted for him. It's brilliant to see, and he's done well when he's come in. There's no, but is that like you've got players that have come from nowhere, and I suppose that's probably why I scratched my head about Levitt as well, who's a first team player that's just been like, fucking hell, how are these boys getting in? And maybe he needs to do more than training. Maybe that's his answer. And maybe that's our answer.
He must be based on a lot on that.
Yeah. And the substitution didn't really work for me yesterday. I think we looked any better or any more threatening. Although, like Boyle should probably have won it late on. He gets that chance that he puts wide. I think it was Ewan creates the space, cuts it back to him, and he just fucking misses the target.
There was a couple of nice bits of play. There was a couple of nice bits of play in the game, but he's a decent keeper, that boy. He has been for a few years. He was at Motherwell before he went to St Mirren. Yeah. He's a good goalie. I don't know what his distribution's like, but he's a good keeper. And you've got him he's made a save for Boyle. There was a nice bit of play. I can't remember, somebody, it was like a wee, so they laid it off behind him and Boyle got the shot away at the near post in the second half as well as the one that I remembered for Venti, the back heel. But it was a lot of scrambles in the boxes yesterday. We had a fucking dozy corners as well. There was loads of corners, and I know they didn't equate to goals, but it shows you how much we were attacking and pressing more than you only get like a fraction, small percentage, don't you? Apparently, 8 goals.
3%, I think, is what 3 in every 100 corners. I think it is that gets a goal.
We must have had about 100 yesterday. So we should have fucking 3 goals in.
Well, the thing is, they all like the chance we fell to people who usually score. Those chances like Fish and Hanlon are
Hanlon one at the
pretty
front,
dangerous.
Jumping over the place, but Hanlon, the header at the back post in the first half. I thought the boy at the time was pushing him, but he was probably just trying to put him off. And the TV doesn't really show it, but at the game, I thought the boy gave him a bit of a nudge, and then that meant he's put it up the way rather than heading it down the way. But he's probably still got to do better, because he never even got on target.
Yeah.
And then there was one that just came across, and there was no pace on the ball, hit off him, and he couldn't get his leg away to swing at
it. I think it's just one of those games, like to sort of summarise the game yesterday, it was just one of those games, but it just didn't quite work for us. But it wasn't a bad performance, and it probably gives us a bit of optimism to take into the derby next week, which we'll talk about in depth on extra time when we record, which is our subscriber exclusive episodes. If you want to hear us talk about the derby and why would you know, then you need to subscribe. You can just go to our Twitter to do that. Right, I'll go to the listener talking points and questions. I've got to remember to bookmark most of these. And I'll start at the start because some of them are conversational. I had a look as we're coming in, and one of the themes that came through were about the crowd. So I'll wait for that to we'll get to it. Right. So first comment that I've got is for Neil Boyle. Neil said, Stevenson should never start another game. Offers nothing going forward when relying on the fullbacks to provide attacking width. He is now a super sub only. What do you think?
No, it's a bit harsh. Like, I mean, he should never start another game. I'd be tempted to maybe think about starting him in the derby next week, for example, in the Rangers Celtic games when we need to be a bit more tight and compact, and we've not got, and our defenders aren't there to provide attacking width. They're there to defend. So that would be my initial thoughts on that.
Actually, so I think where Stevenson falls down in the attacking sense is his final ball. But I think apart from that, I always think Stevenson does all right getting up and down that flank.
He gets up and down. It's the cutting inside thing because he's only got one. He can use his right foot. Let's be honest, or he won't use it. So it cuts his options off. And if a defender's gone, I'll send you inside. He's fucked. Like he needs to then turn and pass it back or inside.
Mm-hmm. The half Monty, I quite like that username as well. Very topical. How do we fans get some patience? We have no right to win every game. I include myself in this. Second question, should Hibs look at McKinstry released for Leeds?
On that part, I've never heard them, don't know. First, but we should try and be patient. You get frustrated in that. I don't know what it is. Like I try and be. I didn't go in expecting to win every game. I go in hoping that we can win and thinking we should win. But I don't expect, I'm not going, I'm going to go fucking nuts if we didn't win because it's a game, eh? Like, that's the whole fucking point. Like, they're coming in to try and stop you winning or think.
Yeah.
So I didn't really get and it's not like we've got, like, to some extent, if you were a Celtic fan or something, you could maybe understand it a bit more because they win every fucking week and they spend millions and millions and billions more than everybody else. And they've done it for fucking 50, 80, 100 years. Hibs haven't they? Like, none of us have ever been brought up. Like, even our older listeners have been used to Hibs winning every week. So why? And that could be like, you could call that that would get called a loser's mentality and all that, but you want to win every week and you go in believing you can win every week. But if you don't win, why would you go absolutely fucking banzai about it? Because it's, I don't know. It's hard to explain because the folk all say that's a bit of a loser's mentality in that, and I don't think I normally have that. I try not to, but I didn't understand how you can go as mental when you don't win, when you've never used to doing it in the first place.
Aye, but I think it goes back to that. Well, I was saying about like the expectations rising out of sync with actually our performances, and I think folk invest a lot in it. Again, like as football fans, that's why you go because it's like an emotional game, and you build it up and you think, oh, it's going to be good today. I'm looking forward to it, and when it doesn't meet those expectations, that's where it gets frustrating. And I think also it's very easy to get caught up in like group thinking, like the hive mind at the stadium. Whereas, with the atmosphere, you saw against St Mirren when it went 2-2, and the mood right across the stadium totally changed. Now, no, everybody was thinking, oh, fuck, we're going to get beat. But if you were sort of assess the mood of everybody based on the reactions for the crowd, that's what everybody thought. And I think it's easy to get sucked into that as well because it's like you all participate in the game. If like you're maybe not the one kicking the ball, but we're all there and invested in it. So I think it's easy to do it. And I suppose, like, how do you get some patience? It has to be a conscious effort, I think, for folks to go and say, right, I'll maybe try and get fucking carried away if that pass goes astray or we go back or the keeper heads onto it for a couple of extra seconds before he rolls
see when you say it, but see when you say it's like that, it sounds so like, why does that, like, why are you going daft at, like, the goalie?
But that's what happens.
For an extra second. I know, but it sounds so ridiculous, when you say it like that.
Aye, and we all do it. Like, that's time because you'll see the pass on, you'll go, fucking go. Or, like, we've talked about it as well, kind of shouts for fans, and again, include ourselves in it. the folk will go, fucking, they'll shout for a pass that's never on. Or like you'd need to be fucking peak Messi to pull it off. And
I think in my head, did they just pick it up halfway and just fucking bang it in the top corner? For fuck's sake.
Why don't you just dribble around everybody and fucking go around the keeper and all the rest of it? Like, and I get that it's not as easy as that when you're playing the game. But I think sometimes we're too hard on the fans as well, because like I say, you do get caught up and you get carried away in it, and it's fucking one of these things. And to be patient, I think you would need to be like, it has to be a proactive decision where you're going, fucking right, I'm no going to.
Or is it? Or is that just the way some people are more patient than others in life anyway? Like, I'm more patient than my wife, the kids. I'm not thinking about it. I just am. Like, I've not got as short a fuse.
But is that the same in all situations? Or are there other situations where they'd be more patient than you?
No, you probably no. There'll be different situations. I guess I can't think of what they are, but in general, I'm more patient, or more laid back, or more more
sensible,
carefree. I'm just better. I'm just better than that. I hope she's not listening.
Aye, we'll see how patient you're then.
She'll move in with the end of this. She'll
turn it off. Whiskey Craig said, this was my first game under the Montgomery era. Despite playing a bunch of hammer throwers, cheats like Rudden, I enjoy a panto villain and dropping 2 points. Get that football in my veins. Another day and that's 5-0 to a man. Hibs, excellent today. New man of the match.
And Newell was good. Could have been 3, 4, 5 goals. They could have 1 or 2 as well, of course. But I think I saw a tweet coming in. I think it was to us when I was giving it last night or this morning, and somebody said, and they were like, they could have been 14.
Aye,
you got to read that one,
aye. Yeah, because actually, it's what I liked about that exchange, and I've talked about this before, and it happened the other week. I think it was with Chris Finn. We'll give a wee shout. Disagreed, and folk were able to disagree on Twitter amicably, respect other person's opinion, and just move on with their lives. And if they got blocked, if they got called a fanny, it was no fucking
like real life, like what it should be.
No rudeness, nothing. It was just like, I can see where you're coming from, but like that's what I think, and then move on. Brilliant. And
old
school, and we had that on our Twitter comments as well. And I love to see that. Like this folk being sensible, going, it's all right. The football's a game of opinions. We talk shite a lot. Folk will not agree with everything we say. It's fair enough. Didn't mind that. Didn't mind you having a different opinion. So next point was from Jez. We're going with Jez rather than Gez. Right? I think it's Jez. Do you guys think there's someone worth sticking with in Jair?
I'm not sure. If we could get somebody in, we've got 3 months 3 full months before we can sign anybody. So we're short in the wide areas, especially because we're playing them. Like if you're only playing one of them, we're maybe not short, but because we're playing 2 wide all the time, we're short there. Which is why the laddie's been called up as well, even though that's not his position, but he can fill in there. We should maybe stop calling him the laddie. It's a wee bit condescending, eh? Whittaker, we'll call him Whittaker. And I don't know. He's clearly a step down for Boyle and Johan. Oh, he's a frustrating character. Like I wish he could decide what he's going to do quicker, because he can do stuff and he's fast but it's like he takes too long to think about passing the ball, and by the time he's thought about it, the fucking pass isn't on anymore. I said to the other night, and I said this on, I wouldn't have, because it was a St Mirren game. At one point, he stopped and he passed the ball inside, and everybody went and clapped. Again, it was a wee pass back into like Newell or Jag or somebody in midfield. And I said to Pete Preston, who was sitting beside on Wednesday night, I says, it's like training a puppy here. It's like everybody's clapping. I say, well done, good boy, because he's done a fucking simple, basic thing. Because instead he tried to do a fucking step over or whatever he's trying to do, he's just done what you're. I wish you would think quicker. But even at that, Jair still seems a step down for that. So if we could get somebody in of better quality, I'd be happy. We've got 3 months that we'll find out if he's good enough or not. Because if he's got to get 20 minutes here and there or start the odd game, we'll soon be able to write him off or talk him up.
I think where I have reservations about writing him off for now is that he's not played football for that season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he came in, he's even played development games for what I gather. I think he's played a few, and then we'll be getting them getting chances. There'll be reasons for that, which we're maybe no privy to. But for him to come into the first, I think it's a big ask to go from no playing at all to then training to then going into the first team, and not just for the physical aspect of it, getting like your match fitness and then your mental fitness for it, but actually the confidence that comes with playing. Like Yuan, for example, can take the time to think about what he's going to do and then still skin a player, or he can do it instinctively and just go and belt down the line. Boyle can do it. Tavares is thinking about it, like, what am I going to do here? And he's not got that. Now it doesn't look he's got the confidence to just be instinctive and go and beat the man. Now, that's assuming he can do it because we've not seen it. But if you're bringing in a winger, that you imagine that's their game. You know, like to get the ball down, dribble it past the man and put it across him. It looks like he's still playing the safe option. And like the time yesterday when he did go by the boy, he won the free kick. I think if you look at him over, like you say, you've got that 3 months to assess him. If he's playing and he's getting regular minutes, we'll get a better idea of whether he's going to be good enough or not. But I think we've just not seen enough, and I think it's harsh to judge him on what we have seen because he's not got that.
Like, folk have made their mind up early doors, and the problem he's got is that it's like if folk make their mind up in the first 10 minutes and then stick with that opinion, then they want to change it.
Aye.
So you kind of need to be open-minded. It's almost like it's like a similar argument to can we be more patient? It's almost like can we be more open-minded and no try and make a rash early judgment, straight, like instant judgment.
So the difference between saying he's not good enough and he's not good enough yet, like that word "yet" is sort of crucial in that discussion, I think. Also for Jez, he said Marshall was superb today, Newell off it a bit and still played well. We'd prefer to see Whittaker over Jair. I'll give everyone a chance and support everyone, but I can't see it happening for him in this country, unfortunately. Hope he serves me up with a big slice of humble pie, though. And then we come on to Gordon. Gordon said, do we have some of the worst fans in football booing the players at full time and telling Nick Montgomery and the players to get to fuck for clapping the fans after the game? How much does it affect the players? Inter away, another example of overreaction.
Yeah, I've seen that respect. Is that interscholastics? Somebody said.
Interscholastics.
Inter-school scholastics. I didn't hear any of the telling them to fuck off. Like, I'd be surprised. I'd be quite amazed if folk were doing that, actually, were they? Like,
yeah,
really?
So see, just before we answer it, I'll this Gordon's tweet prompted some replies. So Paul Mackay said, absolutely brutal, some of them. I know you can't please everyone, but Gizo, JK1976 said, in fairness, it was a minority and they were drowned out by the majority clapping the players at full time. But these so-called Hibs fans need to have a serious think. Same with the Neanderthals shouting launch it when we're trying to build from the back. Go and watch the Jambos. Dave Graham said, didn't hear any boos apart from people booing the ref. Dean said, the amount of guys in the West booing and shouting for Marshall to just hoof it was embarrassing. Joanne said, that's embarrassing, the fans booing at full time. Richard Howes said, thought the crowd was decent today, but this automatic booing when we don't win is ridiculous. The ground always being half empty before the game finishes, regardless of the score, isn't great either. Stevie B says, because they don't really understand football, simple as that. And Gibby the Hibby said, Inter away and overreaction. Really? So a bit of balance. Some folks sort of agree and some folks saying it wasn't so bad. And I think depending on where you sat in the stadium, folk got a different reaction. The booing was maybe more audible in some parts than others. Like, it wasn't that bad up when I was in the West. It was a bit, but not. Yeah. It's like en masse or anything.
But when I was in the East, it was almost just like a sort of instant booing, and it didn't feel like it. I didn't feel like it was prolonged or massive to me. But then, as Kenny went on the way out, did mention it to me, so he must have been noisy at his bit. But I didn't think it was that bad. And I'm amazed that folk were telling them to fuck off and all that. I'm really surprised at that, to be honest with you. And I'm sure the players, like Montgomery, must be like, fucking hell. I've not lost the game. I've not lost the game yet since it started. I tell you, fuck off.
That's an overreaction. It's funny. I saw you might have seen it as well on Hibs.net. One of the posts, somebody had said that they had seen the guys behind them had said things like Marshall, and they called him a name. Stevenson said, "Oh, I fucking despise that cunt." Hanlon, see above, like, and I can't get my head around how you can have those feelings for players that are out there representing you effectively and doing the best for you to win a football match. It just why go to the fucking football? I didn't get it. Like, why would you go to see people or players that you don't like, and how's that supporting them? It just blows my mind that.
I don't know. I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. About years ago, it used to be, that's where working men go to let off their frustrations of the week.
Aye.
Now, since COVID, it's folks said, I need to go to the football for my mental health, right? But now they go to the football for their mental health, not giving a fuck about the players' mental health.
Aye, this is true. Ventus Plenty said, should clubs have to wait until the end of a round of games before emptying their manager? Can't help but feel we're going to be up against a new manager bounce at Ibrox.
Aye, look, we wouldn't have a new manager either, though.
Well, that's true. What do you think of that in principle, like almost like a transfer window for managers?
Well, I don't know. I thought about it before. We mentioned it here before, I kind of get, like, there's a bit of logic in it. But then, what do we need a transfer window at all? Like, why do we have it? Is it to give? So the idea of having a transfer window is to have a settled squad or something, right? That you can work with over the period in between the windows. So why would you not have a manager as well, a manager window as well, then, so that you're not disrupting that? I don't know. Maybe you should, but then we wouldn't have been able to get rid of Johnson, or we might have just done it in the summer, I suppose.
Yeah, I quite like the idea because I think then it takes away the.
It takes away the next 3 games. We need this for the next 3 games thing. That argument, that's right.
You just kind of settle down. But you're right. It could be catastrophic for some. It could be the difference between staying up and getting relegated.
That's done. Imagine that you're there and you're sitting. We've got 3 months to go, and we've still got Lee Johnson in charge, for example. And we were never in danger of relegation under Johnson. No. So let's be it. But actually, you know what? If Johnson was still here, you know what folk would be saying? We're only 1 point off the playoffs. Which we are, but we're actually going, well, if we win our next game, we're fucking above Hearts in our third or whatever. Which is interesting on the psyche, because we are 1 point above. I think for 6th, which we are, to 11th. There's 1 point separating. But you could say we need to get rid of him. Well, you can't until December the 31st, so he's getting sacked.
He kens it.
He kens it. The players know it. By January, you're fucking 15, 18 points adrift.
Aye.
The new manager's gone, fuck that.
Aye, the danger. Stephen Lumsden said, does anyone else see exactly what's going to happen in the match immediately after we tweet about our forwards' goal scoring prowess and the like?
Aye, so slow that.
I have to say, I had about 5 minutes to go yesterday. I'd half written out a tweet to say I fucking take full responsibility for this, for gushing about our front four.
Are you going to take full responsibility if Hearts win the League Cup as well?
Maybe. No.
Okay.
I'm not
check that tweet.
Doing that. I would get deleted. Fucking. It's just one of these things, isn't it? Like, there's loads of times where it doesn't happen. We talk about how good something is, and then that is good. But definitely, if ever there was a time for us to get a 0-0 because everybody was talking about how good the fucking attack is, it was Saturday. I think they even joked about it on the radio in on the Sports Sound podcast previewing the game. I think it was Rory Loy. They joked about it being a 0-0 because he was gone.
Yeah.
Neil Waters said, fans thinking we should just turn up, roll teams like this over 3 or 4-0 and then complain, moan and just get angry at the slightest mistake or slow movement of the ball forward and boo when we don't win. The sense of entitlement getting like the mobs from along the M8 is ridiculous. Jeff Ashton said, thought we played well. On another day, we win by 2 or 3. Dundee defended very well, had a shitload of luck with rebounds, second ball in the box, and keeper played well. Anyone booing at the end is not a football fan, but just a fanny, for fuck's sake. Gaz on Safari said, we huffed and puffed, but couldn't blow the house down. Sorry for going all LJ, but wanted to avoid a cliche. Karen Hannon said, well, I get banned if A, I slap everyone with a wet fish that gets up to leave after 83 minutes. Really, really annoys me. And B, I punch the next silly fuck that boos the team at half time. In fact, at any time. Half time boos as well, like that kid. It's funny.
It's not like you're getting beat 3-0 and I kind of, or even getting beat like at half time. You know, it's aye.
It's funny because
I didn't notice it. I never spending too much time talking about it, even with the tweets and that. It must have been a lot noisier than I realised. I was still on the ground at full time, as I say. I was only left there at midnight. And by the way, on the ground being emptying, I don't know if it empties, but to get out of that fucking east stand is a fucking disgrace. Like how long it takes. There isn't enough exits. You know, if folks start going and standing down the bottom. So the seats look empty, but they're all hanging about.
Aye.
Nobody leaves. They're there. They're just no in their seat. Because otherwise, you're there all night.
You need almost like a London Underground to stay left if you want to. You can fucking motor on. If you just want to fanny about and take your time, stay on the right hand side or the other way around, whatever way it is.
You should have exits out the top end as well, like rather than just so you've got to go down and aye. Yeah, but they chucked it up here. Chucked up quick to get through the planning permission.
We did debut at half time on Wednesday and we were 1-0 down. But I think that was because the team was. It's funny, but we're really good. But I think it goes back to that expectations thing again that we were talking about. Barry Gordon said that, are we all just absolute dicks? One draw and the sky's falling down. Stevenson should never play again. Passing is horrendous. Strikers will never score again. It's so draining watching Hibs on Twitter. Being Hibs admin must be a fucking nightmare every weekend. It is like extreme, innit? That's even I think there was a few folk had mentioned that the response to Hibs tweet saying that's a kid full time 0-0, and it was like fucking abuse, and then folks started saying fucking calm down. Lisa Buchanan said instead of having a pop at the team, should we not be scunnered at Carson having a good day at office? 23 shots, 9 on target, shouldn't be sniffed at. I agree. And this is one that you were mentioning, Colin. Pete said, should we as Hibs fans just be better at accepting mediocrity? If LJ had been 2 good saves away from defeat at home to Dundee, would we also be critical of our own fans for being unhappy?
If LJ had been 2 saves away from defeat? Oh, like as in, Marshall saves?
So like... And this was the one where Jez had said if you count Marshall's good saves, you need to count Carson's and Peace's.
So that's the one I see.
Fair point, right? So we had some good back and forward, respectful debate. But
if you're counting them, it's 4-2 Hibs then.
Aye. It's an interesting. So Pete's point, I read it and I had made a point last week or after the Kelly game about the people's reaction to what Lee Johnson was doing when they decided that he wasn't the man for us compared to Nick Montgomery. Right? So Montgomery, after the Kelly game, criticised Rocky for the goal we conceded and Lewis Miller, right, in his post-match interviews. Both of them got called out for it. Now, remember Lee Johnson with the Will Fish thing? Like, if he were chased by a lion, would you have run faster? The comment he made where Johnson had sort of said, Will's one of the most honest people, and he's either made an error of judgment or he's fatigued, right? So it's either a mistake or he's knackered. And folk went mental. Rule 101, management, you didn't call out your players in public. Montgomery did it last week, nobody batted an eyelid about it. Not like it never mentioned, and I think that's right. I don't think it warranted a mention, but it was the same. I don't think what Lee Johnson did was out of order either. But that you've got the new guy, it's a honeymoon period, so he can't say anything wrong. And you'll criticise, or you'll no criticise him, give it 6 months if we're not winning, and that exact same thing will get flack. This point here for Pete, you're saying, had that game yesterday been under Lee Johnson and we played the same and got a 0-0, would we be saying to the fans, you've overreacted, or would we be going, fucking hell, it's another bad result for Lee Johnson and that's no good enough? etc. Does the tolerance change?
Yeah, it does. That's what I've already kind of have touched on it separately, saying I've just got the league table to make sure I was right, but we would definitely be saying, are we got to be looking down the way if Johnson was still here? We're a point above 11th place. We'd be saying, I take out there's 5 other teams there that were better in goal difference. We're a point above. That's we'd be going, fucking hell, we're going to be in the playoffs. But now we're not. We're talking about pushing for third.
But then I suppose that's where the importance of context comes into it, because if we were still have Lee Johnson, we would have the context of a history of performances and results like that. Whereas Montgomery's relatively small sample size has all been largely positive.
It's the same with Aberdeen though, Ken. It's not like how we're having Hibs here. Like Aberdeen, as I say, 2 weeks ago when we played Kilmarnock, I was driving home and the girl was on the radio talking about being worried about being relegation contenders, especially when the Europe kicks in. They beat Rangers yesterday. They're below us in the league on goal difference. They're also 1 point above the playoffs. They were talking about getting for second place.
Aye, that's what happens, eh? And as I said earlier on about being invested in the game, and you have that sort of emotional reaction at the time. I'm loath to be overly critical. Matt said, not at all a boo-worthy performance, generated enough chances to win it, but without Marshall's 2 big saves, it's a game we probably lose under a certain wee fella. I'll take Monty ball all day. We'll convert those chances. And just see if there's any late ones came in. Paul Mackay said, build up. Do you guys feel that sometimes we need to move the ball a little bit quicker from the back? As if it's a slow build up, it lets teams get behind the ball. I don't mind it, but sometimes a little quicker wouldn't go amiss.
Well, I think they're trying to play it for the back. If you're playing it for the back, that's to invite them forward, isn't it? And then when they come forward, that's when you need to play it quickly to get in behind them. So, aye. If that's what we're trying to do, then aye. But if the teams didn't come forward, then you can't do it, can you?
Yeah. I don't mind it. I think what you see with us and the sort of the patterns of play go is that we move it to one side, pull everybody across, and then try to get a quick switch out to the other side where there's a bit of space and open it up that way. There
was one yesterday that done me like they played it around the back and they played it for left back to the goalie to right back, and he just smashed up the pitch, and you're like, why do you not just smash it up the pitch? Like, why are you taking that risk and knocking it across the fucking 6-yard line and that for him to launch it when one of you two could have just launched it? If that's what, because the whole point of playing it across there is that you're trying to invite them in and bring them in to create space elsewhere. If you just got to smash it, the goalie could just smash it, or the left back could have just smashed it.
Okay, last point. JPG White said, how long till Monty is outed as a lifelong Rangers fan and linked with the manager's job at Ibrox?
It's too early yet. That'll be they put their next manager under pressure.
Okay, be just after we've won the League Cup.
Aye.
Pretty much. Right, that's us out of time for today. Thanks very much for listening. If you're a subscriber, we're going to do a derby preview on Extra Time. As I mentioned earlier, you can get that by going to our Twitter and following the link in our bio. It's only £2 a month or £3 if you want to include short bangers with it as well. Why wouldn't you? So go and sign up there. And thanks for sending your talking points, and we will see you next time. When they trailed me down when I broke free, I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee.